All right, we're going to turn now to presidential politics and new revelations now surrounding Donald Trump's charitable foundation that possibly suggest illegal behavior. The records, first revealed by the Washington Post's David Fahrenthold in his reporting, show that Trump used or appeared to use his charity's money to pay for business expenses, to make personal purchases, and perhaps settle legal questions for his for-profit businesses. Now, that Trump campaign has responded with a statement saying that the Post has, and I quote, gotten their facts wrong, and added that Mr. Trump is generous both with his money and with his time. That sentiment was reiterated by Donald Trump's running mate, Mike Pence, in an interview on Tuesday.
Well, I think what we found is that there's a number of factual errors in that story, as there were in previous stories about the Trump Foundation. I'm confident they'll be able to address those and demonstrate that they fully complied with the law.
Do you know what the factual errors are that the campaign is alleging in the Washington Post story?
Well, I think the foundation will be able to lay those out. There were errors in the previous Washington Post stories.
And the man responsible for those stories, his reporting, to which Governor Pence was referring, Washington Post reporter David Fahrenthold, good enough to join us now. And David, first, with regard to the factual errors noted, to your knowledge, do you have any idea what he's referring to?
No. That story, we sent them a number of questions about the case, the examples we were going to cite in the story beforehand, and they didn't respond. After the story came out, they put out a statement, as you said, calling the story inaccurate. But we haven't seen any, and I don't think anybody's seen any specific inaccuracies they want to talk about. I'm glad to talk about those things. I just don't know what they're referring to at this moment.
And this has gone from perhaps Donald Trump using his foundation's money to purchase things like portraits of himself and signed football helmets, now perhaps to something that seems far more legally grim, if you will, using foundation coffers to settle legal issues. If you can boil this down, then, is it essentially Donald Trump using other people's money for things that Donald Trump should not be using other people's money for?
That might be a good way to say it. So the thing to know here is that tax law prohibits people who run foundations from reaching into the charity and taking the money out of the charity to spend to buy things for themselves or to spend helping their own businesses. You can't do that. It's called self-dealing. And so in these two cases, Trump's clubs, a golf club and a resort in Florida, got into legal trouble. And in both cases, the for-profit businesses settled their legal trouble by promising that the businesses, would make donations to charity. And instead of those businesses making the donations, the Trump Foundation made a donation. So Trump took money out of his charity to basically pay off the obligations that his businesses had taken on, and saving his businesses more than $250,000.
It sounds like a slush fund.
Slush fund is, I don't like a word with a technical definition, but that is, the people that I talked to, the tax experts, said that they had seen a lot of foundations over the years, and they had never seen before such a blatant and clear violation, or what appeared to be a violation, of this self-dealing rules.
Yeah, I know one, in fact, used the word brazen, which always does raise eyebrows. I'm also struck by the fact that Donald Trump made minimal donations, I guess you could say, to the foundation in 2007 and 2008, but he has not, in fact, contributed any of his personal money to the foundation since 2009. In your reporting, then, can you synthesize those decisions and perhaps can you make sense of why it is Donald Trump maintains this foundation?
Well, I don't know what's in his mind, but from my outside perspective, there's a real advantage for him in having a foundation, a charitable foundation, because he does a lot of business with charities. He rents his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida and other hotel ballrooms out to charities all the time. So charities are really big customers. They can pay as much as $270,000 a night to rent out Mar-a-Lago for a charity ball. He needs to be in the good graces of charities. He also lives in Palm Beach part of the year, where charity balls are part of the social world. So he needs money. He needs to give money to charities for his business and his social connections. And this is a way, effectively, to get other people to pay those charitable donations for him. He can now appear charitable and give a gift from the Donald J. Trump Foundation. People who get it assume it's Donald J. Trump's money, but really it's not.
Well, then I'm just going to provide the update. One of the things that Donald Trump has said to have purchased with foundation money, a $10,000 self-portrait that has since been found at the Trump National Golf Course there in Doral. And well, perhaps we can divine what charitable purpose it is serving there, so as not to run afoul of federal and state laws.